What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tru Element 78 in the building with
your one and only reigning, defending Mondo Lucha Hall of Famer, the X-Man, Xavier Mustafa.
Everybody's favorite narcissist, the natural Chris Black.
And we are here to review the wet dream of the one and only immortal Hulk Hogan, where he gets to beat up a gigantic black man and make a lot of money. So, no holds barred. But before we get into that, we are joined by two special guests that I'm going to pass it over to and allow them to introduce themselves. So whatever order you guys want to go in, go ahead.
Well, I guess you can holla at that dude one time. This old Jarrod Jaxx, the swag man, Mr. Swagnificent, a.k.a. whatever I want to call myself.
And this is the Deadly Sin 7, hailing from the depths of Hades. The guy that wreaked hell at Legacy Pro, the man that will wreak hell at Legacy Pro again, and slamming Mustafa through the ring one more time, going to Mundo Lucha, knocking him out, and terrorizing the Southeast, and going to Asia.
What?
Asia? You doing big things.
Yes! I'm putting fear in your eye, man.
I think he's talking to you, Mustafa.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the most Zeus lookalike here in the world, the Deadly Sin 7. Look him up. Y'all see exactly what I'm talking about. This is the real life Zeus, if you will.
Yeah, so we are joined by our special guests here. As you guys know, we're trying to introduce you to guys from the independent circuit, from all around entertainment and sports entertainment and professional wrestling. So, before we get into the review, we're going to kick it for a little bit. So you mentioned that you slammed Xavier Mustafa through the ring. I need to hear a little bit more about that.
Well, it was a match at Serb Hall when Road Warrior Animal was there, and so it was like me and a couple other guys, forgot their name, against Chris Black and Xavier Mustafa and whatnot, and we did our deal. And I slammed him in front of like hundreds and hundreds of people. You know what I'm saying? Slammed up to the sky, into the heavens. But the thing is, there's a video out there. I got the photo, but there's a video out there of me doing it, and then I pinned that ugly giant 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. If my memory serves me correct.
Let me tell you guys what really happened. So I hit him with my Death Valley driver, pinned him for the 1, 2, 3, and he was loopy for the next week. So now he had all these delusions of grandeur that he did all this stuff in this match, similar to our main character Rip in this film. So,
well, Jarrod Jaxx over here was saying he pleads the fifth on this.
But let me continue. let me in my defense, Road Warrior Animal liked that match though, liked the match, the whole setup, the whole finish, the whole 9 yards. He was actually watching.
You know, it's funny. I didn't even get to talk to him about that match. I'm glad somebody did. I wonder. I would never have known if you didn't ask.
Well, you got slammed, buddy.
He was a good guy. He was a good guy. There's only been one guy at Legacy Pro that kind of gave everybody like, oh, I shouldn't say that. I was about to say left a bad taste in everyone's mouth, but nah, I can't say that.
I was about to say this is no whole podcast, man. You gotta let that shit out.
No, you gotta be careful with words nowadays.
To be honest with you, Chris Black took that bicycle kick like a champ, though.
Oh, yeah.
That was the talk. That was the talk of the internet. Trust me.
Yeah, you ate that.
Yeah, the main reason I want to start off with Xavier Mustafa getting slammed because I'm on here all the time telling Xavier Mustafa that I shall be the one that takes him out of the ring and makes him stay in that chair permanently at the gate of Legacy Pro.
And I told him that crack is whack.
Oh, look.
But also must add that he'll no longer be known as Xavier Mustafa when I get done with him. He'll be known as Will. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day.
Let me put over Jarrod Jaxx.
Hold on. We got some static coming through. I don't know who that is. All right, I don't hear it now.
All right. Let me put over Jarrod Jaxx real quick. I know I've told the story before. Before I got into the wrestling business, I was kind of big headed. I was just like, oh, these guys are going to be a bunch of amateurs. Jarrod Jaxx was on the very first indie show that I've ever seen. And when I saw all those guys in the ring, I was like, Jesus Christ, like, like these guys are some fucking professionals. I remember you had a tag match against Rashi and what were their name? The Old School Express?
Jason Dukes.
Yes. I set my game up after seeing that show.
That's funny because my first independent match was with that I saw was with Rashi Brown and Dysfunction. Now, if anybody know who Rashi Brown is, look him up. That brother does not pull back.
Oh, crush.
And he is legit. And I love him for it.
For real. Shit, Rashi could have played the Zeus character.
Man, for real.
You can never question the legitimacy of pro wrestling if you see a match with him in it. Because you're going to be like, there's no way he didn't just cave that dude chest in.
No, he caved mine in.
I finally know what the term rubber leg street means after wrestling Rashi.
So let me ask you guys, how did you hold up during the pandemic where there was little to no professional wrestling from 2020 into early 2021? Or when did you guys get back in the ring?
I was trying to think. When was my first match back after the pandemic wasn't until I had to think about it, man. It's because I actually got in a car accident this past year and I had a back injury, so I sat out most of that time anyway. So for me, it was kind of a relief because I was injured anyway. But at the same time, I was itching to get back, so I didn't come back until I want to say January. I want to say
that was a pretty scary injury. You were questioning whether or not even come back.
Yeah, I was in, like, my career was kind of like I was even questioning whether I was even gonna be. I thought I was gonna be done. So, but here I am, still pushing.
One thing I can say.
I saw you just won a title this weekend. This past weekend, you won a title. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. I just won the WPW championship. You know, my second go around with that. You know, it feels good. You know, I'm getting up there in age. I ain't got no shame to say it. I just turned 40 this past year, and you know, it feels good to still be, you know, looked at as a guy that can you know, help shoulder the burden of carrying the company. You know, a lot of people at this age, they start, you know, winding down and start looking toward, you know, not being the guy. And you know,
Mustafa.
Oh damn! I didn't say that. Those words did not come out of my mouth.
Who said that?
Wow,
good one.
That's what we're doing.
Was not me. I didn't say it.
Hey, Jarrod, did you win that in Cedarburg?
No, I won that in Green Bay.
Okay.
At Cage, in the steel cage match.
We need to do another one like that, right?
Ooh, I don't know about all that. I gotta take a break with the cages now. I can't be doing multiple cage matches back to back. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Get a little color, a little barbed wire and some color, right?
Shit. According to Steve Stone, color doesn't look good on black folks, so I'm all good with that. Unless it's the hard way. Unless it's the hard way.
The hard way, brother.
I've been busted open the hard way before.
Yes, brother.
I got a slit in the back of my head right now from getting busted open the hard way.
What about you, Se7en?
Well, I haven't been in the ring since last year, February 14th, in Rockwood, Tennessee. So I've been holding out. Hold on. Hey, shh. I've been holding out. I got 2 boxers. Sorry about that. I've been holding out, playing it smart. Some of these guys jumping in because during the pandemic and not being very precautious, taking the obvious precautions to keep them safe. And it shows how some promoters and bookers do not care for the health and safety for us, which is sad. From a safety standpoint, that's what I do overall, but I'm not going to get into all that because some of these places could have been shut down. So I'll be making my way back in shortly and terrorizing the circuit again.
All right. Yeah, I gotta say, especially after what Mr. Jaxx over here said, I think that the shutdown of pretty much the industry as far as the independence goes was probably a good thing for a lot of these guys as far as keeping them healthy because, you know, like that's a lot of these guys' life or the thing that like if you're injured, you might rush back and everything like that. It gave a lot of people time to focus.
It gave you time to heal. Yeah, time to heal physically, mentally, right? But also it gave you time to see what shows really fizzled out and ones that stayed afloat. So you can start, planning and forecasting for either the spring, summer, fall, winter. So that was the positive thing. Yeah. It's just Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and even study like their craft, like come back with like being able to come up with like personalities and stuff like that. Some of the stuff I've been seeing. And even when you watch like the mainstream stuff like WWE and everything like that, them being in an empty arena, it gave people time to kind of discover who they were or develop deeper connections to a character.
But see, that boils down to because some of these cats that on the the big times, they don't start from the bottom up where you're performing in front of 5 people, 2 people. So they're performing in an empty arena, which is good. Just like when you're training, it's just you and the other trainee and the trainer, and that's it. An empty building. So, but the thing is, what people fail to realize, and somebody could call me out, but I'm call how it is if you stay away for a certain period of time, you come back different. You look different. From head to toe, physique and everything. You don't come back how you left. You come back totally different. And some of these cats, it's not clicking. They look the same. It's like it should be like, did you miss me? You came back totally different.
Some of them came back like they took stock in Cheetos.
Chris Black.
I feel attacked.
I feel attacked.
See, Mustafa has the grade going, the salt and pepper. He's trying to get the,
wisdom going. The wisdom beer going.
Yeah, he's trying to be like the Isley brothers over there or something like that.
Yeah, he getting ready for that versus battle.
The old James.
All right. So what are your plans going forward into 2021 and 2022? I know, Jarrod, you mentioned that you're almost up to 40. You just won a title. So it looks like you're not going to be slowing down anytime soon. And Se7en, you just talked about coming back from
I've been out.
Sabbatical. Yeah, from the sabbatical.
FMLA. So, but when I come back, I'm just planting seeds, trying to hit up certain promoters and bookers, trying to say, hey, let's talk about some dates, some months where we could, bring me in so it can make sense. Some angles,
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Who wants to come back and just do one shots? Bring somebody back with a purpose, with an angle, with a storyline, with something. Yeah, something meaningful. Like, right. Yeah, that's one thing I got burnt out on. Like, I was getting a lot of bookings, but it was a lot of, we'll bring you in, and you can wrestle this guy or wrestle that guy, and it's like, man, I got tired of that. I was the type of person. I'm like, listen, give me a purpose. Like, I'm not saying I gotta go over and be the guy, but give me something I can sink my teeth into. Give me a storyline. Give me a feud. Give me an angle. Give me, you know what I'm saying? Let me do something that's gonna be meaningful. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just bring me in just to wrestle a guy here and wrestle a guy there, and then just not build off of it. Bring me in. I want to build off something. That's what I'm at this point in my career. Yeah.
I mean, I believe that's the lost art. I mean, like I said, I would love to come back to Legacy Pro and do an angle with a few cats I got on the list that I know that might be like pretty legit. And there's in a certain order, because you always had that one guy that you always want to work in the ring that you guys will click just from personality, athleticism, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but I'm semi-retired, so
Nah, he said, I'm sitting retired.
Full retirement is on his way. Don't worry.
He's scared.
Uh-oh. That sounds like a challenge.
He's scared. Make it a casket match, buddy.
That's gonna be a Firefly Funhouse match. His whole life gonna flash before his eyes.
Just because you got that old demon ass gimmick, don't nobody want to wrestle no casket match all the damn time. You always bring up that damn casket match, you old demon ass dude.
Do a Legacy Pro Wrestling cinematic match.
Yeah, let's go to Graceland Cemetery and throw a match there.
Well, that's he'll have to bring in Sean Priest's alter ego, the Unholy One, for that one.
Dude, yes, that's a good idea. Shit, dude, book that shit.
Book it. Them two are Mojo McQueen
for the Legacy Pro title.
Let me mark that because that's gonna need to be edited out so we. Getting that storyline leaked.
Give away ideas. Give away ideas. Now, come on now.
For the Legacy Pro heavyweight title.
Give away what we sell.
Kayfabe.
Well, the one thing I've always told Xavier Mustafa is that first I'm gonna take his beard, then I'm gonna take his career.
Oh,
you gonna take the wisdom beard? You gonna shave the wisdom beard off?
I'm gonna expose that chin. That chin gonna feel that cool breeze.
I told him I'm gonna destroy him so fast he ain't gonna know what happened.
Shit, I don't think I've ever seen Eddie Chin before.
I was just gonna say I don't even know what Eddie Chin look like. Straight up, as far as I know, dude, he's had a beard, whether it's thick or skinny. He's always had a beard. I don't see this chin ever in life.
No, he got the James.
I got a picture when he was working down in Nashville in his boxer robe, and it was like faded. It was low.
The chin strap.
It was real low. And he had a mohawk. I got it. It's on. I got it.
Mohawk. I don't never not having a beard.
Yeah, he didn't have no beard. It was low. It was like a shadow.
Man, remember I had the mohawk with the Superman logo in it? Oh man, that was so tight.
Yeah. How about this, Xavier? Book Barrington Hughes. I want to slam him too.
Oh. Ooh.
I don't know if you slammed
He was at Mondo Lucha before he got shut down.
You might be slam me before you slam Barrington Hughes.
Tag with him. Me and the very talented Doc Simmons. That's a cat y'all need to watch. Doc Simmons. That dude is the truth. That dude is the future right there, man.
Yes. Doc's a good guy.
Yeah, Chris Black's counted the lights for him many times.
No, I beat him. That brother works stiff, and I like it. Pause.
Well, before we, I was about to jump right into the show, but who was one of the stiffest people that you guys have worked with? I know you're down in Tennessee. You said who?
Skull Crusher. Speaking of Skull Crusher. But stiff in a good way. It wasn't dangerous stiff. It was always safe, but he just let you know, like, hey, this shit for real, man. This ain't no game. But he was always safe with it. He was never unsafe. But he was the first person that I got in the ring with that was like, okay, oh wow, all right, okay.
Wait, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. The first time I got in the ring with Rashi Brown, it was a benefit show that Mid-American Wrestling was hosting. So Ian Rodney gets there, and he was told by Carmine to put a card together. So he's like, all right, I want this person to work this person, this person to work this person, right? So then once I realized that it was only me, Rashi, and a couple other people left, I'm in the back and I do one of these numbers where I'm trying to make myself super small in the chair, try not to make eye contact with anybody, hoping that I can just not be seen. And then, of course, I hear Ian Rodney say, you, Rashi, and the big man back there. And I'm like, damn.
Man, I think the first time I saw someone knock sweat off somebody in real life was Rashi and you.
Yep. But I'm not saying it like I'm complaining because, it was a fun match and I respect dude a hell of a lot. It's just sometimes, though, you just don't, you just don't want to be that physical. You just want to take it easy. But, you in that ring with dude, you going to have to bring it. And he wants you to hit him back, too. And I was hitting it with everything I had, and it would look like crap.
Shit, the first time I wrestled Rashi, some motherfucker thought it was going to be funny to tell me that if I don't stiff Rashi, that he was going to stiff me. So I've got it on video somewhere. I gave him a forearm, stiffed the shit out of him, saw his eyes light up like, oh, you want to go there.
You want to play rough, huh?
It was at that moment I knew I fucked up.
When keeping it stiff goes wrong.
How about yourself, Se7en?
Well, I got a list, so mainly in the southeast, there's you got your group of guys that cry about going too stiff, and then you got the guys that are like hardcore, So those are the guys I like to work. So I got my list. So let's start with Michael Judas, the Priest of Punishment. That's the number. That's the, hey, that guy he brought the best out of me. We've had so many feuds and angles, and that's one guy. I get in the ring. He'll call. We'll just say one thing, and then we'll just go around the ring and work. But anyways, he's stiff. We just go at it. We're both stiff. The dude's like, I'm 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", whatever. He's about 6'8", and the dude's huge, and he's very athletic. He used to be a football player. And then you got Jeter. The guy's bigger than Eddie, but athletic as well, and he's very stiff. He's about a little bit taller than Eddie, about Cyrus's height. Then you got Slim J. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's based in Atlanta. He got trained by AJ Styles. That short dude, he's stiff. And then you got Azrael. He's stiff. So there's a lot of guys that there's a give and take, and they give and they take as well.
What was that little bitty referee that was stiffing you all around the ring? What was the dude's name? The dude, he was a referee that was like stiffing you all around the ring.
The fuck?
What was his name?
Ooh.
Posey? Maybe?
Where?
You let him NWA main event.
Where?
You were working the program in NWA main event with him. Was it Mike Posey? Why is that name popping up in my head?
Oh, it was Posey. He's stiff. so there's a list of people. Corey Hollis, he's pretty stiff. But the thing is this: I believe the stiffer you are, the better it looks. The more that people get their money's worth. You ain't in there trying to kill somebody. I mean, ask Eddie. I gave him the boot once, and I kicked him in the chest on accident. And then so that was one guy. But other than that, I mean, other than that, I've seen Xavier Mustafa do a moonsault like 3 times on one. I was tagging him. We stacked these 2 dudes up in the ring, and he did 3 moonsaults. So
he didn't like them.
The referee had a death wish against those guys. That's what it was.
Hey, no offense, Eddie. Eddie did a moonsault. I rolled out the way. I said, hell no.
I still got the Mondo Lucha moonsault where he killed a guy like all knee.
Yeah.
All knee.
Yeah.
I said, no way.
I don't know if you ever heard of this guy named Strychnine. He's based. He's too. I mean, he wears rocker boots. Like he wears those Jodeci boots in the ring. Dark Martens. That dude, he'll take everything you got, but trust me, it's coming. It's coming.
And the main reason I want to ask about stiff workers is because as we get into the review of No Holds Barred and everything that was going on surrounding No Holds Barred, of course, Tiny Zeus Lester is no longer with us, otherwise known as Zeus.
R.I.P. man.
He was never a wrestler, but they talk about how he was being stiff with them on set. He was being stiff with them in the matches that he had. He was being stiff with them in WCW in the Alliance to Destroy Hulkamania match and the Triple Cage match.
The gangster.
The gangster.
That shit.
So we're gonna get in. Yeah, so we're gonna get into all of that. And they said whenever he was being stiff with them, they would have to like whisper to him, like it was like something about James Brown. It would make him calm down. And Hulk Hogan talks about on the set of No Holds Barred, he actually he hit him in the nose really hard and broke it. And he's like, Tiny Zeus looked at him and was like, I thought you loved me, man. What about James Brown?
He was like,
But we seen the Immortal Ones matches, brother. They don't look stiff at all.
He was like, I don't like the darkies, brother.
All right, so let me just run down the synopsis. This is from IMDb, and then we can say how true this is to the film. So, no holds barred. They say Rip is the World Wrestling Federation champion who is faithful to his fans and to the network he wrestles for. Brill, the new head of World Television Network, wants Rip to wrestle for his network. Rip refuses and goes back to his normal life. Still looking for a way to raise ratings, Brill initiates a show called The Battle of the Tough Guys, a violent, brawling competition. A mysterious man, Zeus, wins the competition. This gets Brill to use him as an angle to get at Rip. Sounds accurate?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
So here's my question about this film and something we can discuss. Brill's whole thing was he wanted to pop a rating and get his network to like the top, and he thought he needed Rip for that. He gets this guy Zeus, who gives him all the ratings that he needs. Why does he still want Brill? I mean, why does he still want Rip?
I get that. I see. My question was this with that whole situation. Like, he wanted Hulk Hogan for his network, but for what? He had nothing. He didn't even like. Okay, he wanted him to do what on the network? Like, he was like Rip. He was wrestling for the WWE. Like, he wanted to recruit him to be on the network to do what? He never even pitched him a show. He never even pitched him an idea. So I don't blame Hulk Hogan or Rip for taking that check and twisting it in dude's mouth, because he never, like he said, I just want you on my network. On your network to do what? Like, I'm just going to wrestle with nobody? Like, you don't even have a wrestling company. You just want me on the network to do what? Are you going to build a show around me? Are you going to do this? He didn't even offer him. No, he just said, I want you on my network. How much is it going to cost? Okay,
Yeah,
what am I going to be doing? What, you know, that was my whole thing with that. As I got older, I was like, okay, he wants him on his network to do what? Like, that was my whole thing. I always thought that was funny.
This is what
Right.
he
He
was.
was
This is
He
what I
had no
realized.
other wrestlers under contract.
He was like the modern day Ted Turner. It was like, really, it was like the WCW if you think about it.
I think that's who they were. I'm pretty sure Bro was supposed to be Ted Turner, except for he wasn't rich.
But that was before the time. I thought.
I actually feel like
it was
Brill
89.
was supposed to be what's the cocaine guy?
Abrams.
Herb
Abrams.
The UWF guy. Okay.
So this is
Maybe
what I want to
that's more
say.
accurate.
This is what I want to say about this. As an older adult now, I realized that the 80s and the 90s was a wild time as far as movies and TV shows. Because a lot of stuff that I thought was great, when I go back and watch it now, I'm like, whoa.
Oh, it doesn't age well, does it?
No.
It does not age well at
No,
all.
it's horrible.
Because
Yeah.
I remember
Dude, I remember when I
shit.
saw this movie as a kid, and I'm just like, oh man, that movie was awesome. I watch it now. I'm like, this is the corniest shit I've ever seen.
But yeah, when you watch it, you get to dissect it more than you when you was a kid, because you're glued like a kid, right? Like now it's like, dude, Hogan wore a sheer outfit the whole time with some cowboy boots, and he thought he was like the shit. He was like a pimp walking into a saloon or something like that. And when I was a kid, you'd be like, man, that looked tight. Now you look at it now, it's like, dude, you look like a goof. It looks horrible.
Oh my God.
And how was he able to walk around without slipping everywhere with them heels on them boots? Because there was some high heels on them damn cowboy boots. Them motherfuckers look like he would just.
He hung out with Rick James.
His outfits did look a little Rick James. I'll give you that.
Right?
But
Yeah.
Rick James, yes.
The funniest thing about watching this movie now is that they portrayed wrestling as a shoot. Like, it's supposed to have been a shoot in this movie. So they made Hulk Hogan to be super like hardcore, like he was just that dude. Man, stop.
Man, that
He
X
was not
handle.
kicking nobody's ass.
That X
The
handle.
parking
bro.
garage scene.
Oh, the
The highlight of that
Dookie.
scene, Dookie was the highlight of the scene. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Hulk Hogan saying
Wait a
Dookie
minute.
was the highlight of that parking lot scene. Let's just
No,
call it what
but
it
you
is.
know what? Yeah, it was. But that scene also exposed how bad of a fucking actor Hulk Hogan was. His facial expressions and all that. It's like, dude, oh my God, did you go to one acting class?
No, brother, I didn't go. It was just all natural, brother, because I'm the immortal one.
He was like, you put up bigger walls than I did.
Yeah, brother.
It's obvious. It's obvious that the person who made this movie watchable, even now as an adult, was Tiny Lister's role as Zeus, because he portrayed the perfect bad guy. Matter of fact, I heard an interview once that Tiny Lister had, where he said that when he went into the auditions for Zeus, he came with the Z shaved in his head, like he already came in gimmick.
Yeah,
And Vince McMahon was so blown away. Vince McMahon was so blown away. He's like, this is our guy.
Yeah, because he said they were auditioning white guys at first, then they moved it over to black guys, and he was just like, yeah, something about America. You put a black and a white guy in there, it's going to make money.
Zeus had so much presence in that movie. That's probably why they brought him in as a wrestler.
So
because he had that presence.
So you talk about the presence in the movie. What you guys think about what was going on outside the ring? Because for the filming of the movie, they had Hogan drop the belt at WrestleMania 4 to Macho Man, so Hogan could go off and shoot the movie. And then to promote the movie, they actually brought Zeus in to wrestle Hulk Hogan. Never in a one-on-one match. It was all tag matches to keep him protected. They even did the no holds barred steel cage match. I believe it was
on Saturday night main event.
Yeah, they actually released it as his own video.
Yes,
on VHS.
the match, the movie. My favorite match was Hogan and Brutus the Barber versus Macho Man and Zeus, where Hogan, the finish was Hogan with the purse with the brick supposedly in it. I have to go back and watch that match again because I have not seen Zeus work ever since I became a worker. So it'd be fun now to go back and watch and see how bad he really was.
See how similar you guys wrestle? Is that what you're saying?
Ooh.
I'm talking about Mustafa like that. I'm not gonna let you talk about my guy like that.
Yeah, actually, you're right. You're right.
But I didn't really see that match with Hogan and Brother Brutai, and then Zeus and the Macho Madness. So I just remember that cage match was on Saturday night main event. Hogan and Zeus. That I thought as a kid though, you be like, dang, this is pretty legit.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome as a kid.
Yeah, because when you watch it now, you like, what the hell?
Because it kind of fuck with you because you watch the movie and it's just like, oh my God, this villain from this movie is now invaded the WWF.
Right.
And like the imagery they had where Zeus was standing in front of the cage and he kept giving the Mongolian chops to Hogan and he was selling the shit out of it. Like, again, he had presence. If he only actually learned how to work, Tiny could have probably been a big star.
So let me ask you this: who are you picking? You can only hire one of these two people. Are you hiring Zeus or are you hiring Great Khali?
Who?
The Great Khali or Zeus? Who you hiring?
Zeus.
I'm taking Zeus. But I'd be booking him as Debo.
Zeus.
With the sweater on.
Guy has so much personality compared to a great Khali.
Even when he was the Indian love machine or whatever they're calling him.
Yeah, let's not go through those days again.
That's from the head of bad gimmicks.
So this movie was officially the first WWE film, even though it wasn't underneath the WWE film banner, it was under the New Line Cinema banner. But this entire movie was bankrolled by Vince McMahon himself. It cost an estimated $8 million. They made $5 million on opening weekend. It was dropped on June 4th, 1989. And it ended up making a cumulative worldwide gross of $16 million. So if it was estimated to be $8 million, they made their money back. I believe do you think that this movie would have been deserving of a sequel, even though, Brill
Yes.
died at the end? I would have liked to, what would you like to see in the sequel be? Or would you like for it to be a prequel?
Well, can we back up a tad?
Yeah.
Okay. So in order for it to be a sequel, they should have ran the angle right where Zeus went over on Hogan to make it a sequel. But they blew their shot. If you watch it, Zeus dominated Hogan the whole time. I mean, he put away his like brother and sister, but then all of a sudden they walk up the steps and stuff, and then Hogan comes back and one punch knocks him down. And he went.
But to the credit of what I didn't like about the movie, I wish they wouldn't have the whole. They basically pulled the kickboxer where the bad guy kidnaps somebody and then he's like, "Oh, make the fight look good." So I would have liked it better if just Zeus was just dominating the shit out of him.
That's
and then Hogan kind of came back.
But see, I think he should have dominated him. Zeus wins, yay me, sequel. Hogan comes back.
Hogan don't put nobody over.
Yeah, he don't put nobody over.
He wanted the Rocky movie. People forget Rocky lost that first fight.
And Rocky lost to Drago.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? I had a lot of Drago vibes from the training montage with Zeus hitting the cement blocks and then doing all the workup on the weak ass machines.
There was a couple of things in there I swear they used in future movies. I said I was going to remember them, but I don't remember them now. But I was like, man, this is like every action movie in the 90s. And this movie came out in 89.
Wasn't the Piper movie before this one?
80s, 90s action movie.
They Live with the greatest fight scene ever.
Yo, they said that's still the longest recorded fight scene in a movie right there. They Live. That fight scene with Keith David or David Keith, I can't remember.
Yeah, Keith David,
yeah, because there's a black dude that's Keith David and then there's the white dude that's David Keith, so I always get them confused on which one is which.
But you know what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would have liked to have seen a prequel to know how Zeus became Zeus.
Killed someone in the ring. Shit.
According to Hulk Hogan's trainer, the guy that was training Hulk Hogan said he killed some dude in the ring after the bell. He just wouldn't stop.
He said he couldn't control him.
Yeah, that'd have been cool.
I mean, this movie.
I want to bring up how WWE is masterful in how they kind of present themselves versus their opponents or whatever. So when I was a kid, like I didn't really watch WCW at all until NWO. So it was either WWE or everyone else was just not good enough. So put the very first scene in the movie is Hulk Hogan having, or shall I say Rip, having a match, sold out arena or whatever. But then you have this Braille guy who puts on some shows, and as Jim Cornette will call it, it was a fucking mud show. It was redneck pro wrestling where these guys were in like a makeshift ring with some ropes, like some actual like ropes for the ropes. So it's like you put what WWF was doing compared to the competition, which was like the shits. So it's just like we're the top dog, and they put it out there like that.
I do want to point out one of the things I noticed now. Let me know if I'm out of line by making this comparison. But the black dude that had trained Zeus in the movie, remember he was working with Hogan or whatever? Tell me that's not the dude that trains Mac in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
What was his name?
I can't remember the dude's name. But
what was Little Mac's trainer? I can't think of it.
I don't know his name.
But that was that dude. I don't care what they say.
Let me see. Dude, wasn't it like Stan Hansen in that movie, in that bar scene?
Yes, that was Stan Hansen. Yeah, Tiny Wankers, Tiny Wankers, and he had the sister with the messed up teeth too. Yeah.
Shit, that wasn't the same woman that Zeus like face palmed and picked up when he first showed up, was it?
Dude,
No, I think that was a different. I think that was just some random bartender chick.
He palmed her like a basketball.
And just dropped her.
And one of the funny things, like I had watched a review of this movie years ago. I believe it was on Wrestling with Regret, And you guys remember when Hulk Hogan went on the TV show and he choked out that reporter, Richard Belzer? And they made the comparison that the limo driver looked just like that guy. So he's like, maybe that was a little bit of payback.
I didn't notice that until you pointed that out. He did like Richard Belzer.
Dude,
No,
Vince ain't shit. Vince ain't shit.
Now I must say, like, I've watched a lot of fighting movies and movies that are about combat, and this came out, I believe this came out after Roadhouse and before Bloodsport. But I gotta say, this was like the most bloodthirsty crowd I've ever seen in a combat movie. Like, even Mortal Kombat didn't have bloodthirsty crowd like this movie has, because a guy dies at the end. Brill, like, of course, we don't do spoiler-free reviews. Brill is electrocuted to death in front of an audience, and they go wild.
And then they start clapping. Yeah, they start clapping after that shit. I'm like, what the? This motherfucker laying there. And you notice toward the end, his hair start parting apart, and he start having the little devil horns on his like his hair just start parting slowly, and he had these two horns by the time it was all over. And then he was out there dribbling with the little blood dribbling on his mouth at the end and shit. Like, dog, I didn't notice that until I watched it again. I was like, why they part his hair with the devil horns? Is they trying to symbolize subliminally? Like, yeah, this guy's evil. He's a bad guy. Even in the beginning with Bill Eadie, aka Demolition Axe, gave him the dark circles under the eyes with the fro. Like, they had to accentuate the dark eyes. Like, we got to make sure these people know he's the bad guy. Let's put these dark circles under his eyes and make him look real bad.
Yeah, it was something else I was gonna say about it was him choking him out, and then one of the things I was gonna say is I mentioned Bloodsport. So if you're a professional wrestling fan, I do believe this is a piece of Americana that should be viewed. I think you should watch this, especially if you even if you're not a fan of wrestling, I think it's worth a watch. But if you want to see the good version of this movie, it would be Bloodsport, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, I can feel that. I can feel that.
So why do you think? So they had the WWF featured in the film, and everybody else was themselves. Jesse Ventura was himself. Mean Gene Okerlund was himself. Everyone was pretty much themselves. Yet we don't have Hulk Hogan. We have Rip Hogan. What do you guys think? Rip
Thomas was his name.
Yeah. Sorry. Why do you guys think the reasoning for that was? Think it had to do with Marvel, or do you just think it was something else?
No, I think Hulk Hogan really wanted to distinguish himself as an actor versus the wrestling business. I think that was his long game, kind of like everybody is now. You know, The Rock versus Dwayne Johnson. Same thing. I think he wanted.
Yeah, but Rip Thomas was basically Hulk Hogan, just in blue and white.
Exactly.
Hey, shirt. Real talk, that outfit was off the chain, though.
He had that weird ass like hand signal.
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah, I don't know what that was. Looked like he had a cramp in his finger or some shit.
Hey, all I know is they're lucky they did that hand signal instead of doing the OK symbol, because it really came out wrong today.
Booker T would have been mad, brother.
I've been exposed, brother. I've been compromised.
Brother T would have been mad, brother. He's already mad at me.
Let's see, and that's the other thing I would say. I said the sequel to this movie would have been Rocky. It would have been a Rocky no holds barred crossover.
Right. That's how it should have been.
Yeah, but I don't think Vince McMahon wanted his top guy. I don't know. Because I'm sure this was supposed to get a crossover audience. So he didn't want his top guy losing in a movie, I guess.
Okay, so we had No Holds Barred that took $8 million to make. They made 16. They made no sequels. However, The Condemned, they got 15 sequels. They got 15 sequels.
I was wondering why Condemned got that many sequels.
So far, the only WWE film I believe that does have sequels are the cartoons, obviously.
The Marine.
See No
Evil, like five of them.
The Marine, and didn't they do a 7 rounds too?
I think so.
WWE only does sequels to like their movies with guns, basically.
Yeah.
Well, again, we gonna get into all the damn. Well, no, See No Evil had a sequel.
Yeah,
Well, I said See No Evil, but See No Evil was the official like first. Well, like I said, this is the official first WWE film, even though it was released on the New Line Cinema and it wasn't called WWE Films. But like WWE Films was formed around See No Evil, but Vince McMahon owns the rights to No Holds Barred.
You know,
So that Roddy Piper movie wasn't before this?
That wasn't a WWE funded film.
That was John Carpenter.
Yeah, Piper did that on his.
Yeah, Piper did that on his own. That's actually when Piper went and got his Screen Actors Guild card, and that was part of the reason that he left the WWF because Vince didn't like him joining the union.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago. Well, actually, that's why Zelina Vega and them aren't there anymore because Bailey did that interview with a lady, asked her about the Screen Actors Guild and being or what's the wrestling union like and stuff, and she's like, we don't have a union.
So
like, you don't have a union. You're on TV.
She should have been like, interview over. Gotta go.
So speaking of They Live,
we don't say the U word.
They Live came out
the
the year before that. Came out in 1988. Made $13 million on a budget of.
That's what it made.
Yep, $13 million.
That's it.
Going on
That's a pretty penny for back in '88 when that movie was made.
True.
Made more than Hogan.
Yeah.
So we know who the real star was.
Oh yeah, it did make
Here's how deep WWE was. Well, WWF at the time was into No Holds Barred because was any of the music in the movie memorable to you guys?
Zeus's theme was in it.
Zeus. Yeah, that was memorable.
Yeah, so
why.
the music was even produced by Jim Johnston for the movie. So,
Wow.
and I guess the one benefit of this movie coming out when it did was Kevin Dunn wasn't around yet. that's why it was competently shot. Otherwise, we would have had so many cutaways during the fight scenes.
Lord have mercy.
And I don't
You
care
would
what
think
anybody.
Vince McMahon wants to be known as an entertainment guy and not a wrestling guy. That he'd put, I don't know, more effort into his movies.
Well, the one thing that I could say, one thing that I did say about like this movie, and you can just see it because like whole jockasses. I'm like,
oh my god!
I was like, was Christian?
Yeah, I didn't get that. I thought he's calling him a jackass. He's calling him a jockass.
I think they were trying to make that catch, but it wouldn't.
You jockass.
When you watch it and you hear that, like I remember the first time I saw it was on TV, I thought it was edited for television. You jockass. Like, you couldn't say jackass, and I saw it like actually on VHS at the time, and it's like, no, he's really saying jockass.
Jockass.
I was like, who says that?
I didn't know about words. I heard him say it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, who did a better job of booking Zeus? Was it as Z Gangsta in WCW or in WWF?
For sure.
WWF, man.
You don't talk about Z Gangster. That was like a time deal too.
Man, I forgot about that. You just brought it up.
And you were the WCW guy.
Yep.
And I wasn't watching it, so I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, everybody always says like the two biggest burials in wrestling were John Cena defeating the Nexus and Macho Man and Hogan defeating the Alliance to end Hulkamania, which was Z Gangsta, Ric Flair, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I think it was Earthquake. Like it was like them versus like all the names in WCW at the time. Like they just ran through a triple cage. Ming was in there.
Oh, you talking about the Doomsday Cage?
Yeah, the stack cage.
Yeah.
Stack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys know exactly what event that is? I'm gonna have to look that up.
I think it was
Uncensored 95 or 96. I can't remember which. I think it was. I want to say 96.
It was the first one.
I'm writing that shit down.
Wasn't it the first Uncensored?
I think so. Yeah.
That's the match the Legacy Pro needs to have. Triple cage match.
We got this thing.
I've never had a cage match.
You never had a cage match, Chris Black? You never been in a cage match?
No.
Man.
E2.
lucky for you, the women have changed professional wrestling, so now you can have a cage match if you choose to.
This guy.
So it was at Uncensored 96, and it was the second uncensored pay-per-view.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
4th, 1996.
For some odd reason, I like bad wrestling, so
WCW had matches in the weirdest places. This pay-per-view happened in Tupelo Coliseum in Tupelo, Mississippi. I've never heard of Tupelo.
They got a Coliseum there?
You never been to Tupelo, Mississippi?
Oh, wait, hold on. I did not know about Tupelo, Mississippi, though. That's where all the casinos at.
Yeah.
That's a mud show if I've ever heard of one.
Mud show.
They ain't got no sidewalks, but they got casinos.
Hey, brother, that's where all the rats were at, brother.
Oh, that made Chris Black been there before.
Hey, you know my rule. I don't do rats.
The rats were there.
He do mice.
The mice.
I do cougars.
Uh,
But so overall, this movie, give it a grade, an A, B, C, D. You know.
Because I have fond childhood memories, I'll give it a C. But really, it's a D. But just because my dad took me to see it, and God rest his soul, that's my memory I share with my dad. I dragged him to go see that with me, so I give it a C just based on that. But we all know it's like a D.
I give it a B minus. For real, B minus.
What do we just overall grade?
Overall, a B minus.
I'm gonna give it a C plus, just because, just like Jared, it has memories from my childhood that are very fond. So that's why I'm gonna rate it highly.
Right. My childhood, a B minus. I love the bad guy, and I wanted Zeus to destroy Hogan because I hated him for years. I always hated him, and he didn't do it. But still, that segment was great. That's why I give it a B minus because it's my childhood.
Shit, I give that shit an E for effort.
And let me ask you guys then, do you feel like for the time and then looking back, so I guess it's two separate questions. How do you feel professional wrestling was portrayed, and did it move it forward? Did it move it back? And everything that, obviously did a lot of outside of the movie work as far as promoting it and getting the people over it.
The only time I thought it moved the wrestling business back is when Zeus ripped off that turn post and then shot it through the ring like it was paper. But other than that, I thought wrestling was portrayed very strong.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the only wrestling movie that I feel did pro wrestling justice was the movie The Wrestler.
Yeah,
Yes.
All other wrestling movies, they come off as hokey and real carny and just really, really fake.
Do you think that's because they try to portray it as a shoot?
Yes.
Yes. That's exactly why.
It makes everybody look like weirdos. Like, man, why is he trying to rip this guy's heart out? Like,
yeah, we need to have a segment talking about The Wrestler, because that one is basically that's real life right there. We need to have a segment on that one day.
We've all seen that veteran in the back, like, bro,
looking like, man, it's time to go, man.
I know one in Tennessee, but I'm not gonna say his name. But I know Se7en. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, yeah. I'm just gonna say this. The one scene that hit me the hardest in The Wrestler was after he collapsed and had that heart attack, and he's in the doctor's office. The doctor is just like, well, you can only do, light activity, blah blah blah. And he's like, but doc, I'm a wrestler. I'm just like, bro, like that's his livelihood. Like,
yeah,
gone.
So we need to have a segment. We need all five of us need to come back with The Wrestler. I do that too. Piggybacking off of the No Holds Barred, what we just talked about, we need to dive into that.
Right. Yeah,
opposite ends of the spectrum. The ones that made it look the corniest, and then the one that portrayed it the most.
Right. So that'd be down the line a little bit. Got a bunch of WWE films to run through, but I would love to talk about that movie. And even just all the controversy around it with the Chris Jericho and the Mickey Rourke match that was supposed to happen and all the BS that happened with that. Like,
oh man,
so much stuff surrounding that movie. But other than that, I think probably done with No Holds Barred. But let me ask you guys one more thing. When it comes to No Holds Barred versus Thunder in Paradise.
Man, that's like, oh man, I don't know, man. I don't even think I could do that one, man. I don't even know if I can make that decision. That's a rough one, dude. That's a tough choice. That's a tough.
I don't know. Thunder
I like
Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise because of all the cameos.
Yeah, I like Thunder in Paradise because I got to see Sting as a heel. That's the only reason I like Thunder in Paradise. You got to see Sting as a bad guy.
But it was so bad.
No, you guys remember the episode of what, Baywatch, where Shawn Michaels was on it?
no.
He was wooden as fuck. Just
That was funny.
like all the charisma was gone from Shawn Michaels.
I'm sorry, no, I'm
Well, all right. So thank you guys for coming on. This is Se7en and Jarrod Jaxx. You guys want to give out your social media, let everybody know where they can find you, and especially let them know where we can find this video of Xavier Mustafa being slammed. I'm gonna make that my wallpaper.
Post that on the slam board.
Oh please, I will. I shall.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, do it. Promote that Joker, cause he's scared.
Oh yeah, we know he's scared. Look
Put
at
up
his
those
beard.
titles.
I can see his beard trembling right now.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
That's the he gave the Hogan. The Hogan line for the Hogan movie. That doesn't work for me, bro.
Hey, seriously, September is Summerfest. Legacy Pro, book me versus you in front of the thousands of people. Come on. It'll make money. On the basketball court at Summerfest. Do it.
There's too much politics involved in booking Summerfest.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Make it happen.
September is showcase the champions, so that's our WrestleMania. We ain't worried about Summerfest.
Well, hold on. Well, that'll work actually because you guys can have your match, and then Chris Black and New Jack's match can happen on the same show. You're definitely gonna make money.
You work?
Shit. I'll be goddamn. Motherfucker, I'll no-show that bitch. I am not interested in dying in the ring.
So two intergender matches. That works for me.
From ear to fucking other ear.
Hey, Xavier, throw Legacy Pro at the Italian Community Center the day of Summerfest. Book it.
I'm gonna tell you how my match. I'll tell you how my match with New Jack's gonna go. I'm gonna get dressed. I'm gonna start the motherfucking car. The bell gonna ring, and I'm running out that bitch.
No, you're gonna have.
First, I'm gonna piss him off. I'm gonna piss him off in the back. I'm gonna call all the spots and tell him how I'm not gonna give him shit, and then I'm running out that bitch.
You're gonna die in the back, so you want to get to do all that.
That's hilarious. But yeah, go ahead and give out your social medias. We'll start with you, Se7en.
Okay, you can find me on the IG. Let's go right there. Let's just do the IG. That's at the number 7. I mean, that's at SE the number 7ENTHE Deadly DADLYSINN. So that's the 7 Deadly Sins on IG. You can find me there, and then I'll route you to my Twitter, my Facebook as well.
Jarrod Jaxx.
I'm just on Facebook. I'm old school. You find me under Jarrod Willis under Facebook. You'll see Jarrod Jaxx in parentheses there. That's my social media. I know I should probably be on Twitter, but I'm just not a fan of the Twitter. It's a little too hot on Twitter for my take. But I'm gonna give me a Twitter handle soon enough.
Twitter get you in trouble. As soon as you try to do something legit, they be like, "Remember you wrote this in 2001?"
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I did too much stuff back in my day. I was a bad boy back in the day. So yeah, that's another reason I'm kind of leery of going to Twitter. Your boy has a checkered past.
Oh, and also one more thing before we get out of here, because I did make the joke at the beginning of this that this was Hulk Hogan's wet dream. Looking back on what you know about Hogan now and looking back on this film, does it make you watch it differently?
Nah, not really. Because Zeus was kicking his ass. That's why.
That's the thing. That's what I said. He kicked his ass. That's why I give it a B-.
I think I don't look at it differently because I think even then everybody knew what Hogan was about. So, yeah.
Yeah, but again, that ass whooping came with an asterisk. I hate the fact that they pulled the kickboxer. I'm gonna kidnap someone and, throw the fight. Basically, I didn't like that. I think Zeus should have legitimately just kicked his ass
with those tights on, huh?
Dude, he came out looking like a hood American gladiator.
Ghetto ass American gladiator. Combat boots with the fucking silver tips on and shit. Like steel outside of the boot. Mostly we were steel toe boots and shit is on the inside. They said, no, fuck that. I'm gonna put my steel toes on the outside. I'm weird like that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you guys listening, if you watch the movie, or right now it's kind of hard to see the film. It was released digitally about 8 years ago, and it was released on physical media, but now it's out of print, and you can't really get it anywhere. If you look hard enough, you can find the movie to stream. If you watched it, we didn't really get into the love angle because the love angle in the movie really didn't make any sense. Like, Brill hires a chick to seduce Hulk Hogan, and she just obviously ends up falling in love and kind of gets in the way. But the thing I like about the movie is, as soon as she starts to get in the way, they're like, fuck that love storyline. Beat his brother's ass.
Basically.
Uh-oh, that's the bad low sign. I didn't even have this on the charger. I'm going to have to...
Well, your volume is all crazy now anyway. So
yeah, because it's probably because my battery's dying.
Yeah, well, we about to get up out of here. So, Mustafa, Chris Black, give out your social medias and we can get up out of here.
You can catch me at Xavier Mustafa on Facebook and on Twitter. And you can catch my solo podcast, XM Cinema, on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram at XM Cinema, and wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You can catch me on Facebook and Instagram at The Natural Chris Black, or on my Twitter at @the_natural_CB. As always, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, cover all new, and my review for Wrestling Duntaco. Sorry, my pronunciation is still fucked up. Is up. It's live. Check it out. 6-star match between Will Ospreay and Shingo Takagi.
And you can catch, well, obviously you're here on YouTube, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring that bell so you're notified whenever new episodes go up. And leave us a thumbs up. If you feel like giving us a thumb down, that's appreciated as well. Lets us know how we're doing. Obviously, also check us out wherever you podcast from. Totally different content than what you get over here on the YouTube channel. Over there, we do a lot more of the week-to-week professional wrestling content, and we drop new episodes every second and fourth Saturday of the month. Also, you can check us out over on Facebook at Saturday Night Slamcasters. That is our official page. Join our Facebook group over there called Saturday Night Slamcaster Slamboard. You can find me at TE78 on Slamcaster TE78 over on Twitter. And other than that, we up out of here. You can holler at your boys. Peace. Come get slammed.